Hello, welcome to Sammy on Stadia. It's now qualifying time for my Bahrain challenge. We're racing with Daniel Ricciardo's Renault around Bahrain track for a 100% race on Friday. This is the qualifying session. As you can see, we're about to go into qualifying 1. Now, for those of you who don't know, Formula 1 qualifying works very simply. It's split into 3 sessions. The first session is everyone participates. Set a lap time, and the fastest 15 drivers go through to Q2. Q2 is the same, 15 drivers that are left go around, so the fastest lap time they can. The fastest 10 go through to the Q3 session, which is a top 10 shootout for pole position, and they also have to start the race on the tyres that they set their Q2 lap in. So the trick is to get through Q2 using a decent set of tyres, but don't use too much of the grip because you'll need that at the all important start of the race. Let's go in and see how well we do. You can see there the floodlights starting to light up the track. It's a night race in Bahrain these days. It didn't used to be when it started, but 2014 it changed to nighttime conditions and it's proved to be absolutely spectacular. We're going to have a look at the car setup. For the increased top speed that we had from last time, but also custom setup. He's giving us 4 laps of fuel. They're changing presets for overwrite your current custom setup. I'm going to cancel on that and just trust that that is enough fuel to get me through, even on the maximum quality mode, which will use up a lot of fuel, giving us maximum power. Going to track park further means that whatever setup I have at this point, I will have to use throughout the race. So it's got to be a setup I'm reasonably happy with. I did some very good lap times in practice with this setup. I'm going to try it out for the race. Hopefully it pays dividends. We go straight onto a flying lap. But just going into the final sector, just to make sure we've got decent control of the car. You can see there our fuel mix is in mode 4 max for maximum. Coming out of the corner, front corner, onto the straight. DRS opens automatically in the mode I've got it in. And going along the straight at over 200 miles an hour. It doesn't show us the speed like it did in practice, and I wasn't paying attention to the speedometer. Maybe someone who's watching the video can put that in the chat for me right now. Lando Norris goes through in sets of 1:30.5. Now the fastest time in practice was Lewis Hamilton with a 1:30.2. As Pierre Gasly also sets a 1:30.5. And it seems that we haven't got our first sector time available to us. I think that might just be a glitch. Albon manages to lower the barrier to 1:30.2. So we're expecting the top times for this session to maybe even be in 1:29. So we don't need to be fastest in this session, we just need to be in the top 15. Or, to put it another way, outside the bottom 5. Now this car should easily be able to do that. Stroll sets of 1:30.1. I'm not getting our sector 2 times either, so I honestly don't know what we are to expect as we cross the line from the DRS, and the finish line gives us a 1:30.0, which is the fastest lap so far. I think we can be happy with that, to the point that I think we're even just going to put it in lean mode and not worry at all about setting the fastest lap time again. That 30.0 should be plenty enough to get us into the top 15 and into that Q2 session. That's a great start. I'm really happy with what's happened there. We're going to get out of the way of Raikkonen behind us. And then go past. In the end, it's a bit of a you first, no you first situation. He gets past eventually. Obviously that won't be his quick lap now. We're going to back off just to give him a bit of space so he doesn't mind if we close up later. We'll be coming into the pits at the end of this lap. We haven't got that much fuel left. As you can see, it's just about, it's one lap now. That's one lap of fuel. Thankfully we're in the final few bits of a lap before we come into the pits. Charles Leclerc sets a 1:29.4, showing there that 1:30.0 is a quick time, but it's not going to be the quickest. You don't expect the Renault to be pole position, but Q3 should be attainable in this car. And of course it's not raining, which is a great thing. Great source of joy for me, because I can't race in the wet, as we discovered plenty of times in the F2 challenge. So I'm happy with that 1:30.0, 009. We set that on the red tyre, which is the softest tyre of the three that we're provided. I didn't check what tyres I have left, so I'm going to do that now. Pass the time. Jeff no doubt will interrupt us a few times whilst we're doing that. So session info, tyres. We've got 3 sets of softs, of which we've used one of them, and 1 set of mediums, which it says recommended for Q2, and that's
our best lap so far is a 1:30.0.
Yeah, I know that. Thank you very much. But yep, our medium tyres are what's recommended for Q2. That would be great if we can get through to the top 10 on those yellow tyres. That means we can go a little bit longer on the first stint of the race, which will open up our options quite considerably. It seems my phone has decided to receive a load of notifications at once.
Speed trap 207.6 miles per hour.
That's good to hear. Obviously we didn't get that information when we were doing that. You can see there we are 4th place, a couple of steps ahead of our teammate Esteban Ocon, but over a second behind Valtteri Bottas, and you have to think Lewis Hamilton will be setting a similar time. We'll find out in a few seconds what he can do. 1:28.5, so we are nearly 1.5 seconds behind the 2 Mercedes, or behind Lewis Hamilton. We're a second behind Valtteri Bottas, which is plenty. We're travelling at over 200 miles an hour at parts of this track. You can go a long way in a second. Lewis Hamilton close to what is defined as a session theoretical best, which is the fastest 3 sectors. We got the fastest first sector, only by a small amount, but our first sector of 28.5 is slightly faster than Lewis Hamilton's 28.5. Now that does bode well, because if we got that's mostly straight lines, and so if you've got a faster car in terms of top speed, you'll do well in the straights. You won't do as well in the corners in a normal example.
If you want to know specific information or make certain changes to the car during a pit stop, you can tell me what you want over the radio. Press and hold the radio button to activate the system, and you can either speak the command or select it manually from the radio screen that will appear on the multifunction display. While the radio is active, cycle through command groups with the MFD button.
That's exactly what you told me in practice earlier. But yeah, if we're faster down the straight at a high top speed, that means we've got a better chance of overtaking, especially when you include DRS into the mix. DRS will be a system where the rear wing will physically open up. Will open up, and that will give us a bit more top speed in a straight line, and that will only happen within a second of the car in front of us during the race. We get We get to use it as much as we want on those straights in practice and qualifying, but it's limited to just those overtaking scenarios when it comes to the race. There's 7 minutes left in this session, but I don't think I'm going out again. So I'm going to just accelerate time. Have a look down at the bottom. We've got Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Magnussen, Russell and Latifi. Russell once again being faster than his teammate. Just fast forward time a little bit more. Just whilst we're not going out, and it doesn't look like anyone else is going out either, they're all in the garage. And it looks like that could be it for the entirety of the session. Even though it is saying there's cars out on track, I don't quite know what's going on there. But there we go. That has put me in the end of this sit behind the 2 Mercedes, which you'd expect in this day and age. Mercedes are typically the fastest cars on any track. Max Verstappen in a decent Red Bull, but he seriously outdrives that car. It's incredible some of the stuff Max Verstappen gets up to. And the 2 Ferraris, which you'd expect if it was last year or a few years ago, you'd expect them to be in the top 5. Not these days. Various things have happened which have meant the Ferraris are a lot slower nowadays. But let's go through and let's go into Q2. Now this is an important one. If we are in the top 10 at the end of this session, we get to go through to Q3 and we start the race on the tyres that we set that lap on. So let's put the mediums on. Now it's saying it'll be a second between a fresh set of softs and mediums. And the used set of mediums are about 6 tenths faster, possibly 7 tenths. We're going to try the mediums because we get a big benefit if we can qualify on them. No. So let's go straight into a flying lap on these medium tyres. We're a little bit, not slower, but they won't have as much grip on the corners. So this is where I rely a lot more on the aerodynamics. Hopefully I can do well. I'm not driven on the medium tyres around this track. I didn't do that in practice. I did the first few laps on the hards and then went straight to my qualifying simulation on the softs. Again, we're in maximum fuel mode. And going for a single lap. I might have to be a little bit quieter on this lap just so I concentrate, because I need to get a decent lap time out of these tyres without taking too much out. Esteban Ocon, our teammate, sets a 1:31.0. That's a good benchmark for us. And Bottas and Hamilton setting a 1:30.2, which seems to tell me they're going for harder tyres as well. Looking at the damage on our front wing already. We've ran over a lot of curbs, which is kind of worn away the front wing itself and the end plates at the side, particularly on the right hand side. A slight confidence lift going into that corner, that could cost us. Going down the penultimate straight into the last, it's actually classified as 2 corners. You've got this corner and then there's another corner there, believe it or not. It's not one corner, it's classified as 2 distinctly separate corners. That sets a 1:30.9, which is slightly faster than our teammate. So the question is, do we expect our teammate to be?
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Only 1 lap of fuel remaining, so I wonder, because we are making a much better go at it in our second lap. slight glitch, which means I'm going to have to use a flashback there. That's a shame. I'll flash back to there so I can break for that corner again. Running a little bit wide. And we're now 8/10 of a second ahead, going through what is being drag strip straight, which is used by the owners of the racetrack as a drag strip, as you'd expect from the name of it. I'm going to see if I can do this corner without lifting as much. Failed. I also missed the braking point horribly for that, and thankful for the glitch, because that means... In fact, I'm going to flash back all the way to there so I can have another go at this corner, and maybe getting the line right. Well, no, I'm not sure it will let me flash back from that. Well, apparently it will, but only to there, so let's try that again. This is why I didn't allow flashbacks in my F2 challenge, because I would be fine-tuning all the way. Thankfully I didn't have too many glitches there in the F2 challenge, which I seem to be having at the moment. I'm not going to try those corners again, even though I did mess them up quite a lot. And what do we like for fuel? It's looking to be about 3/10 faster in the end. Now I'm going to have to slow it straight into lean and coast around the lap so that I can actually get back to the pits. Now this is a challenge. This is a very different challenge than what I'd expected. Even touching the throttle like I'm doing at the moment. I'd much rather actually just a bit of warning for corner cutting. I don't think it would matter too much if I had that lap taken away from me. 0.06 laps of fuel left. I'm in P12, P13. I've got a feeling it's put me into low fuel mode. I'm still not going to be using much fuel if I could help it. I'm in P13, so I'd have to go out again. My gamble on the yellow tyres, medium tyres, hasn't worked out. And doing a second lap on it has meant that I've nearly run out of fuel. Am I able to get back? Causing a lot of yellow flags. Thankfully there's no one else really that I'm getting in their way.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty.
I know the tank is empty, Jeff. Thank you very much. I did kind of get that impression. Out of the way of the clerk as he goes past. Do not want to be in his way. And Albon coming into the pits. Let's say Albon had the fastest lap time. And there we go, into the pits. Tense moments there in Q2. It's about to get a little bit more tense as I've got one lap really to make it work on these red soft tyres. Oh, struth. So let's have a look. We've got 5 minutes left, so it will be a single attempt on these soft tires, which I say are 1.3 seconds quicker. Now, just to give a rough idea, 1.3 seconds would put us actually top of the timesheets.
The car settings screen on your multifunction display will allow you to change various settings
Yeah,
as you
shut up.
drive. Open the display with the MFD button. You can then navigate up and down.
Oh, that worked. I actually managed to get him to shut up that way. The front wing's still absolutely destroyed from our runs over the curves earlier. We'll put it back into maximum fuel mode. And it's glitched, so I'm going to... I stopped there to make sure that I didn't crash and do any more damage. It's still glitching though. I don't know what's causing this. I'm going to pause. This is the danger, of course, I guess. And fast forward it to there. It's not actually showing me anything, so I'm going to have to go for another instant replay and flashback to that. And hopefully it will stick with me. No. What is going on here? Get into neutral. It does eventually put me into reverse later. I don't quite know what's going on in these settings. See me scratching my head there, that is genuine. Got a feeling it might have something to do with my recording software, which is a bit of a nuisance. Yes, that is to do with my either recording software or going into my second screen. So what I'm going to do... Oh, no, is that back? I believe that's back. So let's go to the flashback. And that seems a lot better now. A lot of cars coming out the pit lane. Thankfully we're ahead of them because of course they'd be on slow laps. But already we're 3 tenths up on our best lap time, which is the 1:30.6. 3 tenths or 4 tenths. Another fastest first sector, which proves we've got very good top speed, not as good on the downforce. Again, I'm going to be nitpicky and go for a flashback on there. I do apologise for this. And braking into that corner is a lot better now. Now 4 tenths ahead, climbing up. Not quite going to be 5 tenths ahead by the end of this straight. It is going through that corner, in fact going up to 6 tenths. And the much increased grip means I'm flat through that corner now. The green middle sector, which is my personal best but not fastest of everyone. And some people have managed to go faster in that middle sector. It's understandable. It is my best so far. And I think This is going to comfortably put me in.
Fantastic. That was the fastest lap.
As Jeff said, that was the fastest lap. We're now going to get out of the way of all the other cars. Straight across the gravel there, trying to get out of the way of Norris. We're in the lean fuel mode, saving as much fuel as we can, or deliberately not being fast.
Just 30 seconds left in the session.
Which means every single lap that these guys are on is their final lap. As Vettel gets quite close to being held up by Raikkonen there. We're going to maintain a decent speed behind them. You can see the clock tick down in the top right. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2, 1. That's the checkered flag. So we're only allowed to finish this lap. We're not allowed to set any more fast laps. Lewis Hamilton just goes half a second faster than we did. You saw how impressive our lap time was. Hamilton's just gone half a second faster. No wonder he is joint first on the all-time wins list. We're just going to go through and take the checkered flag across the line. It really doesn't matter about our fuel load. It puts us third for that session, which means we're in the top 10 and into Q3. Let's see who else made it. So, the two Mercedes, we're actually faster than the two Ferraris this time. Verstappen, the only one who managed to qualify on the medium tyres. That's big. And that could be very interesting coming to race. He might not qualify 7th, he might qualify higher, but he will start on those medium tyres. Our teammate Esteban Ocon just a few tenths per second outside the top 10. That's a shame, but starting P11 means he gets to choose what tyres he starts the race on. And he can choose soft tyres and fresh soft tyres, or he can go for the harder tyres and try and go a bit longer in that first stint. Nothing left really apart from advancing and going into Q3. I believe in Q3 we're given an extra set of the soft tyres, which gives me the opportunity to run twice. I'll have to check here. Yep, there we go. So those are the tyres that I'll be starting the race on. See, we've got a bit more wear. Those my medium tyres, and that is a set of tyres I'm specifically given to run in Q3. I've got 2 sets of softs, so I've got 2 attempts at a decent lap time. So I think I'm going to go out. I'm actually going to drive out and give you a good idea of what setting the car up looks like from my point of view. We're going to drive out, do a lap, and come back in. I believe that's one of the AlphaTauris we got past. Did one of the AlphaTauris actually get into Q3? That's very impressive. It's probably Gasly. But I'm going to change the fuel mode down to lean for my warm-up lap. And I think the most important screen is really that one, watching the temperatures, making sure they're green, they're in the region, ready. And the brakes are warmed up, and everything is optimal, ready for the start of the lap. Warm the tyres up a little bit. just by swaying on the straights. And then I think about now I'm going to kick the engine mode into maximum. And see what we can do. Remember, the Mercedes have taken the top 2 spots in both of the other qualifying sessions, and I believe they were up there in practice as well. We're not expecting to beat them, but top 5 or even top 3 would be a very successful qualifying for us. Going down the straight and braking into the first corner, turning in a little bit wide. Thankfully it's not too bad. Flat out through that kink. Turns 2 and 3 into the straight for turn 4 there, braking exactly where we're being told to. Slalom. The map saying I had a purple first sector. Once again, fastest of anyone so far. The middle sector is not my favourite, particularly because of this corner. Straighten the car good and early, and flooring it down the drag strip into a pair of high-speed corners. Braking for the first one, running wide on the exit. We're getting a turning point in, clipping the curb, not riding it. Running the curve down the exit of what I'm going to call an ultimate corner, even though, as I've said earlier, this final turn here is actually one turn and a second one there, which we do run wide on. That could cost us a little bit of time, and we are 129.1. Now that is what I think is a very decent time. I can't remember what we had in Q2 or Q1. I'm sure someone else would have been taking notes whilst watching this video. I'll pop it in the chat right now. Thank you very much, whoever's doing that. I wonder, in fact, how many people are watching this, or are we all enjoying the good stuff promotion that's been going on? It started yesterday as you're watching it, and continues until tomorrow, Tuesday until Thursday.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
I'm actually recording this before that good stuff promotion, so I've got no idea what's coming up. I might not even want to actually be watching this video. I might be too busy. We did well for our first run. As Jeff said, we got close to 1 lap of fuel, and we're coming into the pits. We're currently P5, ahead of better than Albon, but so who are the top 4? Oh, the 2 Mercedes, Verstappen and Leclerc. We're P5, okay, right. I miscounted. Got ahead of the game too much, wasn't paying attention. Wasn't paying attention to the standings. So that's just a load of notifications on my phone, just clearing them away, don't worry about that, as I'm being wheeled into the pits. There you go, that was a warm-up lap, a fast lap, and then a cool-down lap before coming into the pits. We're gonna just see what the likelihood is.
So far is at 129.1.
So 129.1, which pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. We are what, a couple of tenths off Leclerc. We're top 2 those. Is that possible? What do the tyres seem to say? The tyres seem to say I've got 4 tenths to come. If I'm a new set of tyres, that could put me actually potentially splitting Mercedes. So 5 minutes remaining in the session. Let's go out, do a flying lap, do it on a clean track, not necessarily the grippiest track. The track gets grippier throughout the session with the grippiest right at the end. But I'm reasonably happy with the way things are, and more importantly, I get a clean lap. There's no one else out on track to spoil my time by distracting me or getting in my way. Turning up to max, I might have done that a little bit too late. It looks like there are going to be people our way just distracting us. And it's going to be like that through turn in the corner. And we're already 6 tenths back. I don't think this is going to be our fastest time. Because we're out on a fast lap, everyone else is on a slow lap. We've got to try and negotiate our way around this traffic, which isn't giving us any space. You see Verstappen closing in on us by quite a way, finally slowing down, but we've already lost a couple of attempts and we're already quite a way behind. So this isn't going to be a good lap. I think I'm just going to come straight back in. It's a sad moment, that. I'm going to just turn the fuel mixture down. That's what happens when you ride the curb. I'm now going to let Verstappen back past. Let Verstappen back past. Verstappen didn't want to go past. That's fine. Maybe he was trying to get a slipstream off me. That wasn't going to work, and I think Verstappen's going to get his final lap time. It's going to be a problem for him. Meantime, I'm into pits, and that's going to be it for me. So P5 is the best I can hope for. If people like Vettel, Albon, or the other 3 behind them go any faster than my lap time, I'll of course slip further down. It's a shame, but it's not the end of the world. It's a long race, 100%, 57 laps, full race distance. I think there's still good opportunities for me to overtake. I've got the fastest car in a straight line. I reckon I've still got a good chance of top 3 for the checker flag at the end of that 57 on Friday. Let's have a look through the session info. That's the end of the session. Let's see what it gives us. It gives us 5th place.
It's time to remind ourselves of our top 3: Hamilton, Bottas, and Charles Leclerc. With qualifying complete,
so
all
there
that
we go.
remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Well, the Grand Prix won't be tomorrow, as David said. It will be on Friday. I hope you can tune in. It will be our normal Friday live stream. If you are watching this on Wednesday, or indeed if you're watching this before the Thursday, then you'll be aware it's my Tomb Raider live stream. I'm going to try and finish Tomb Raider from where I am. I believe I'm just over the gondolas and haven't quite yet made it to the beach to meet up with my friends. We're going to see if we can get off that cursed island and defeat the bad guys. Thank you very much for watching. Again, as the graphic that would have appeared on the screen about 30 seconds ago said, like, subscribe, all those things really help us content creators out. As I'm sure you know, I have a lot of content creators watching my videos. You all appreciate just how much it helps us know that we're making good stuff, that people are enjoying what we're watching. And if you've got any advice, then let me know. Perhaps you know how to resolve my issues on these glitches where it seems to keep stuttering. I'm fairly certain that's not happening from Stadia's end. It's more based on my computer. It might be my second screen setup. It might be that I'm using Streamlabs to record. I don't know. If anyone does know, please let me know. We'll find finally get to the bottom of this. I find again more stuff on my phone. I'll be paying attention to you guys, of course. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on Friday or on Thursday for either of my 2 live streams.